Welcome, my friends. Valentine's Day. Could you believe it? February the 14th. Ed Walker's 80 and 2 days old. How do you like that for apples? But today, happy Valentine's Day. I want to thank my guest for coming in this afternoon. This is one of our last programs, or it's my last program, it's certainly not his. Brian Ouellette, who's the executive director of Woburn Public Media Center. He was good enough to come in here and sit and send me out the door in the way I deserve. So that's a scary thought right there. We'll see what's going to happen.
Ed calls me the boss.
The boss. He's the boss. Right. There's no question about that. So I said happy Valentine's Day. The Council for Social Concern Telethon was a success last weekend. I'm not exactly how much money we made, but it was a good piece of change. Somewhere around $20,000, I assume. And the Winter Classic on Saturday was big success. I don't know, could you know, what would they do Saturday?
I was there on Saturday, and it was great.
What did they do? What was it? Is that the hockey thing?
It was supposed to be the hockey thing, but the rinks weren't really ready because of all the snow.
Yeah.
So, but they still had a bunch of events going on. They had sleigh rides with horses.
Okay.
They had, it was kind of like more like hay rides.
Okay.
But they had a petting zoo there, games for the kids to play.
So this was all good for Saturday, then the hockey thing was Sunday, got postponed.
Well, the hockey thing was supposed to start Saturday and end Sunday. But all the hockey got postponed because of the snow that we've had in the rinks. They couldn't get them cleared in time. Plus it was all choppy and bumpy.
You know, I was thinking this afternoon, somebody told me that, I said, there might be a few days, even if the winter went through and it wasn't available because people paid to join.
Yeah, they paid, yeah.
But still, there's still time, like December next year, or the end of this year, it's still time to have that, if they wanted to wait, but I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I was talking to the mayor on the way in, and he was saying, because remember it was 60 degrees that Wednesday before, and then it snowed, and then it froze, and it was just, there wasn't enough time to prep them for ice hockey, so. Yeah, it was kind of a shame.
When the snow gets in the ice, it gets terrible.
Yeah, and then you have to wait. So he's still thinking of, the mayor is still thinking of doing it within the next couple of weeks if the weather cooperates. So it might still happen.
All right.
Just didn't happen on the same
day.
Stay
tuned for that one.
Yeah.
All right, the Woburn High football coach resigned 2 days after he took the job. I don't know anything about that, except that he's a young man, got a lot of experience, but I think he said in the Times that he decided to stay at the job that he was at the University of New Haven or something like that.
Yeah, just said he resigned for personal reasons, so whatever he decided.
Good for him.
Yep.
So whatever he does, I hope he has a lot of success in the future. I think what we'll do now is have a worldwide search for another coach.
Maybe they'll find someone in Woburn.
They might find one right in the building, right? Who knows?
Who knows?
The site of recreational marijuana. Residents favor placing marijuana in the adult district, which is over by Target. Because every city and town is supposed to have an adult district where adults can go and buy Playboy magazine, stuff like that. And then the marijuana store will be right next door. No kids going to school over there, so they don't have to worry about them coming in and getting a lollipop, which they might do in a drugstore downtown, which I doubt very much. But the other problem I think there is that the federal government's still involved. The new president, I think, is not in favor of marijuana. He may decide to just close this marijuana argument right down and say we're not going to have it. But as it stands right now, it's against the law federally. So these guys that are in this business, it's a cash business. Everybody's in this business. You can't do anything with the money because you can't put it in the bank because the banks are all federally insured and blah, blah, all that stuff. So I thought that over there near Target, it's a good place to just rob the marijuana store because you can come down off the highway, rob the guy, get back on the highway before the guy hangs up the phone at the police station. So I think that's a problem that Chief Ferrillo will have to look at. In light of other budget needs, school board unlikely to fund a human resources coordinator. And the reason is there's other things that are more important. This is something that happens in the city all the time. It's anybody that watches the budget process or whatever. Everything that you have to have done has to stay on a list for like 10 years before they say, oh yeah, we've been passing over. And there's nothing more important than in a corporation with a $50 million budget, the school department, and the employees they have to have a human resources situation. You know, we have 5 or 6 or 10, I don't know how many employees we have here actually on the books, but outside of volunteers. But if you go into Brian's office, if you're ever in here, there's a couple of boards in there. And they're just covered with laws and things that we're supposed to pay attention to and read and make sure we're aware of, because they're all relative to human resources stuff.
The regular labor law posters and stuff like that. You're supposed to post at every employee.
They don't have a person. The city itself has a person, and City Hall takes care of that side. But the school department, with all their employees, doesn't have it. So they get 3 or 4 people over there, and that's going to cause a problem someday. It's going to cost somebody going to court and getting it all the way. So I think that's something that should be moved up a little bit closer. You can't just keep putting it off and putting it off. Every time we have Joey Aaliyah in here, the superintendent in charge of money, he has to, it's in his division that he has the responsibilities for some of that stuff. So I think he's been asking for that, and they haven't been able to do it yet. So I think we'll move that right up. We'll have the school department move that right up at the top of the list. Human resources for the school department. Navy veteran Abreu earns a Woburn High School diploma. That must have been this week, right? He got the diploma this week from the principal, Ms. Callahan. He left for the Navy in 1942 and never finished high school. So here he is now, getting his picture in the paper and having a diploma.
Was that the one we just saw in the paper?
Yeah, that's the one we just saw.
All right. Yep.
So say he was 18 in 1942, you know, 12, 30, he's a pretty old guy. They're all in their 90s, any veterans from the Second World War.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
They're all in their 90s anyway.
Yep.
So good luck to Mr. Abreu. I hope he has many, many years to hold up his diploma and be proud of it. Possible violations of the zoning and Maywood Terrace dispute takes, I don't know if it's possible zoning violations. I see, so that means it could be impossible too. It's just something they're going to study on Maywood Terrace. It's on its way through committee. So those people were downtown making an issue out of that. So that'll be something they'll have to take up in the future. Maywood Terrace dispute. Neighbors want a 2-family home on Church Street instead of a 3-family. Church Street is right down above, just in the north of Woburn Center, where like there's a couple of gas stations right there. I forget which one's on the corner. If Church goes up, comes around out on Manning Street there. But anyway, it's an older neighborhood. In the past, I read the article and I was just looking at it. It says the city of Woburn says in their laws that you have to have 15,000 square feet for a 2-family house. Well, this structure was built in 1900, and the lot size is 3,058 square feet. That's pretty small.
Yeah.
So the present building that's on there is a 2-family, or was a 2-family, I think it's abandoned now, is 2,600 square feet. So that's only 300 square, 1,000 difference, right? 1,400 square feet difference. So now you can't have a 3-family. There's not enough room, you know.
Yeah,
just my
yeah.
initial impression. I said,
Yeah.
I can see why the people would be unhappy, because you require 15,000 for a 2-family. They want to put a 3-family there. You only got 2,600 square feet. God, you know, that's packing them in. And the houses down there are pretty close together anyway. So that's another situation. So I just thought that was pretty interesting, that how much property you had to have back in 1900 to build a house on. I think you just went out there, put a stake in the ground and said, like, this belongs to me, I'm going to build a house here. So forget setbacks and all that stuff. Opposition for the New Boston Street Bridge. Dwyer Donnelly blasts selectman for Wilmington. Dwyer, you listening today? I hope.
Yeah, why are they against it? I don't even know. Why is Wilmington against it?
Because
I didn't read it.
Everything's changed since they agreed that it was a good idea. And there's more industry and more things going on in Wilmington, and people come down from Lowell down Route 38, and now that's going to cause more traffic in Wilmington to get come through Wilmington into North Woburn so you can cut down Merrimack Street.
So it's going to be less traffic in Woburn, but more in Wilmington?
Yeah.
Coming the other way? All right.
So if you come down from Wilmington, you're just going to come into Woburn and cut right through. Now, you come down from Wilmington, you have to go either down 128, which say that's the easiest way, go down to Washington Street, and then go up Commerce Way all the way to the end, and then you're back into Wilmington. So they're going to eliminate all those traffic, truck traffic and stuff. But I mean, it's going to be just transferred to another street. It's not going to move. But the only reason I brought this up, Swannon, a little bit earlier, I remember Paul Meany, when he was my dear friend. He was involved in that because they had to dig a pipe all the way from, say, Market Basket, all the way up to Wilmington. Wilmington paid for it. They put the police, I think, also, and they put the pipe in and they hot topped the road over, so you'd never know it happened just a few years ago. But the reason they did that is because they were out of water. Something over in that area, Butters Row they call it, and something happened, polluted their wells. So they were out of water. They had a big water problem. So he was head of what they call that, the Woburn City Committee, or Woburn Businessman's Association or something like that. So he knew all about it. So he says, we got to get the pipe in the ground, get him the water. I said, Paul, don't give him any water until the bridge is approved. And Brother Dwyer, who was on the city council at the time, remembers that at the meeting, the guy that was complaining the other night was there, and he was in favor of the bridge then. But his reason now is 13 years later, times change, so therefore he's against it. He's going to make Sendler. But I think the engineers and the money and everything is approved. So I think the bridge is going to go 2019. Come on, I mean, the bridge won't be there till 2021. I said, good grief, I'm going to break if I'm allowed, I'm going to break the champagne bottle on the bridge.
Well, you got to start somewhere, you know.
Yep,
as long as you start it.
That's right.
It's like the library. They're going to start it, and it's eventually going to happen,
So I want to say to Brother Dwyer, you're doing a hell of a job. I'm glad that you open up and get out there and tell what the people of Woburn deserve to know, because this is something that's gone back to 2004. In 2007, Wilmington was in favor. We gave them the water, and now they want to say, well, forget the water. We did them a favor, now they don't want to help us at all.
Right.
So Dwyer gets all the credit for that.
Well, speaking of Representative Jim Dwyer, did you see that he voted against the pay hike?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. I'm glad he did it. I kind of knew he was going to do it anyway, because I know how that system works in there. And if the Speaker of the House has the votes, then you could go in there and say, I'm going to vote against that. And he'll say, where did I have the votes counted? He counts the votes, say, I got enough, okay, you can go. You're off the thing. But if he didn't have the votes, he ain't voting against it. Now that's nothing to do with him or his character or anything else. But he did it, you know. And then he got up and he did something else. But so I think it's just shows that he can be a little bit off the mark a little bit. He's not afraid to go down there and say against all those Democrats, and he's one, and vote against them. You know what I mean? So I give him credit for that. I want to give him credit for standing up for the bridge. It's a good deal.
He also says that Mitch McConnell says hello too.
Oh, Mitch McConnell! I hate him. I hate Mitch McConnell. But Dwyer is the best representative we have. I think about that a lot, because I think it's a job that you have to have a good personality and you have to be able to talk. He'll talk a dog off a meat wagon, you know what I mean? How's your dog? How's your dog? Oh, how are the kids? How's the wife? How's the house? The roof leak? No, okay, bye-bye. He just keeps going. But he's a wonderful kid. He does a great job. He's probably the best representative we've had so far. So if he keeps his nose clean and stays there, he wants the job, I'd vote for him every election. I like him. Dwyer. That's him.
Yep.
So, what are we going to do now? We're going to talk about what? What do you want to talk about?
Well, right now, Jen and
Lauren are going to do what?
Well, Jen and Lauren, they put together a little compilation video for you first. You want to do that first, and then we'll do the stats?
Yeah.
So they wanted you to see this. Ed has not seen this, and actually I haven't seen this either yet. So we're gonna play that now, if that's all right. All right.
have a good time. Celebration. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on! It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on! It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on! Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here, a dedication to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate and party with you. Come on now. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Yeah, yeah. Celebration. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on! It's a celebration. It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on! Let's celebrate. Come on now. Celebrate good times, come on! Let's celebrate. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright, baby. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. Celebrate good times, come on!
They're waving. See you later. Yeah, that's
So
good.
that's-
That's good. Well, there's a lot of memories there, boy. I'll tell you that right now. You know, you see some of the pictures, some of the people on there. It's unbelievable.
And that's just really a small sample of what you've done over the years.
That's right. Yeah, I guess.
Since, I mean, it's almost been 10 years. So
10 years.
we wanted to turn the tables a little bit and talk a little bit about how you got started here at WPMC. And I was telling you before, I remember reading in the paper that you were at a meeting one time before WPMC was even up here.
Yeah.
About starting some sort of a media center or hearing about the city getting this equipment and wanting to jump right in and do something. So
Yeah.
you've been involved since day one, even before.
Yeah.
You're going to put them up here? Yeah. We're going to have some stats up here too. Do you know how?
Oh, yeah.
You want to guess how many shows you've had?
No,
total?
I'd say we did one a week for 10 years, so I don't know how many that would be. So we must have
Well,
done
that'd be
one.
about
With some weeks we did
520,
more.
right? So listen, there's 17 conversations from the corner office,
Wait,
39 conversations with the candidates, 41 what's on the menu, 432, and then the grand total, 529.
It's unbelievable.
So that's actually, that's a pretty good estimate, because if you do a show a week for 10 years,
yeah,
it's
that's
52
probably
weeks.
it, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
We were
Yeah,
doing good,
529
did well.
shows.
We
Is
did
this
it well.
530 or 529?
It's an interesting thing about how the thing.
No, this show?
Oh,
This is 530, right?
Yeah.
no, this is counted.
Oh, this counted in, okay.
Oh, this one counts. So,
So yeah, how did you get
it's a-
involved in when it
Well,
first
I
started?
was thinking, I thought about it a lot because we had an extra day because yesterday we were going to do this last night, but of course the
Yeah, the
snow and
snow,
everything got
yeah.
screwed up. So we're doing it tonight. But the thing of it is a long time ago, well, say 10 years, 11 years ago, the Comcast was the first one to come into the city out of the three companies that we have, RCN and Verizon and Comcast.
Yep.
And they had a building over on Stoneham on Blockville Avenue where they taught people how to use the equipment in a cable station because they were going to get out of doing it themselves. And of course the city of Woburn was one of the first ones that got some of the money for doing it. So I went down, I believe it was a committee room at the time, in City Hall, and I wanted to see how they were going to do it. And I used to have conversations. Some were good and some were bad with the mayor. I think it was just John Curran at the time. And they had an ad. Comcast had an ad saying, if you wanted to come over here and learn how to do this stuff, and I don't know why I went, but I did go. So I learned how to do some of it, the camera, and I never had any fear of being in front of the camera. Some people, which we've learned over the years, when you put the camera on, they go, they can't even talk. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah. But I never had any fear of the camera, so I was interested in that part of it. So then Comcast gave the city some equipment, and then they got rid of all their own people, so we had to take it over ourselves. And the mayor appointed Bill Bishop as the first executive director. Yep. And he was perfect for the first guy to take over the place because he was a little roughshod. He didn't take any baloney from anybody. And the school was being built, and we were up in North Woburn, and I can't think of the executive director there of the school, Joanne or something.
Joanne Collins?
Collins. Yeah. She was
at the senior center, yeah.
So helpful at the senior center.
Yeah.
They ended up giving us a room, just a classroom, and Tucker and Bishop put the whole thing together.
Yep.
And then we did a few interviews there. I remember it was so small, I was in the middle of the room doing an interview, and I could think of Dickie Gately was, I think, one of the first ones. And he was the alderman from Ward 2. And then it wasn't very long after that the high school was being built. And of course they had the plans for this facility we're in right now. And then we just came over here, and now by that time Bishop had hired Lauren Coleman from Millis, Mass, the Millis Monarchs.
The Millis connection.
Mohawks, all right, that was the Monarchs, okay.
Yeah.
And Kevin, what was Kevin's name? Kevin?
Bechet,
yep. Chris came on board, and I think that was it at that time. Then we all come over here, and everything just went from that time on. It was just perfect.
Yeah, I always thought it was great that Mayor Curran and the principal, Bob Norton, had the presence of mind to have this put in the plans.
I was against that. I was against it.
Yeah, you were saying that before.
I was against. Mayor Curran wanted it in the school. Yeah. I argued with him. I said, we don't want it in the school. I said, I want a storefront because I want it independent from the school because you get into all this stuff in the school, and you know, everybody that comes into the school that isn't employed by the school, they think that you're butting into their business a little bit.
But it worked out pretty good, didn't it?
It worked out perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing today. We've had other children, I call them children, but they're young people, and come through the process. Now, Anthony Giulio just come on the process maybe a year ago, but he started here as a freshman. Right. And he went through the whole process. Yep. Then he went off into the big TV station. I think he worked at Channel 5 for a while.
Well, he graduated in 2013, and then he went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. And then he was hired by Channel 5 to do
and you only can put up with that for so long because that's like going up at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, it was the eye-opener. So he had to get to work at 3:30 a.m. and work till 7.
So he's the only young guy said, I can't be doing that. So he come here, I didn't know he was here, and then all of a sudden he showed up, and I said, God, you back in school? He said, no, I'm working here now. Jeez. And he's a good kid.
Yeah, we had a job open up, and
the kids like him.
Back. Yeah, he's great.
Yep, he teaches them how to do all this stuff. Now, we get hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of equipment here. I mean, there's a lot of money in this little square building, part of the school. And they have an opportunity to come in. Some kids come in and they love it, and they get involved, and I think we have, like in the school itself, this is not your grandfather's high school, that's for sure. Now, in the school itself, there's like 75 clubs relative to whether you're gay or you're this or what group, or Italians, or Leo clubs and everything. And they come in. and they put on their own little interviews, talk to people, tell them what they're doing, what each club is doing. Everything is together, and this is the way it comes together. They come up here, they learn how to do the stuff, and with the hopefully the minimum amount of supervision that they get from Lauren and Jennifer Regatta, that and you, that everything works out very well. We have morning announcements. It's like a big game in the morning. I can't wait to get here in the morning.
And they do a great job with it too.
Like,
and they do it themselves. You know, we don't help them out that much unless there's a technical problem.
Yeah.
But getting back to you.
Go ahead.
Because this is about you today.
Yeah, me. Who are you anyway?
How did you come up with the idea for happenings around Woburn? You always wanted a talk show about, you know, current events in Woburn. Is that how it all started?
Yeah, it started out like, that's pretty much what I thought it would be a good idea, and I don't know whose idea it was. It could have been Bishop. I'll just give him the credit for it right now.
Well, he did a great job, I need to say also, to getting this whole thing started. And getting the original equipment up and running. Yeah. That wasn't easy.
No.
Because I know I took over 5 years ago, but to get this stuff initially set up and running was a big job, and he did a great job with that.
Yeah, because we said he don't know what he's doing, but he got it. He did it.
He knew what he was doing. Yeah, he did. Yep.
He learned it all from doing it in North Woburn there for that one summer.
Absolutely.
And then he come over here and he kind of just supervised what was going on.
Well, the other thing is you don't have to know everything. You have to know who to call to get something done.
That's right.
And as long as you know that, like the same with me, I don't know everything, but I know who to call when there's a problem.
So I don't know who started.
I asked Lauren.
Then somebody come up with the idea of let's do it live. We want to do something live. You know, everything is on tape.
Yeah, every Monday was a live show. Yeah.
So we wanted to do it live. So when do you want to do it? How are you going to do it? Monday. So we thought Monday was the best day because what little news we get out of the Boston papers, you can get on Sunday, and then the Times and the Advocate, and there were maybe a couple other little TV things going on. Not TV things, but you know, they come along. We can get news anyway, or who's gossiping, or find out what's going on. So we thought Monday night at 5 would be the best time. You could review all of last week's papers. Yeah. And then you know what happened and who died. We tried to stay away from, my personal opinions, we tried to stay away from obituaries as often as possible because you'd be spending too much time doing that.
You mention one person, you have to mention them all.
Yeah, you have to do them all. So then it just grew from that. And then after, I don't know how long, you'd have to go back and look at the papers, but I don't know how long it was before it started to get cold. It was like, here I am reading the paper, you know. Train a monkey to do that, which they probably think I am a monkey. But what we did was, so I said, I'm gonna go get somebody to have a partner with. So I used to go to the city council meetings and sit down. The only person in the audience at the time in those years was Paul Meany. So I said, I know Paul for years anyway, and his family. So I said, I go sit with him, and so I said, look, what do you think of this idea? We could do this. And he said, look, I'm not feeling too good right now, but he says, I'm getting better. And he says, let me have a couple of months, I'll make a decision. So a couple of months later, he calls, he says, I feel pretty good. I said, well, get your butt up here. And then he came, we sat down. You have to have another person in the seat, because you can go back and forth.
Yeah,
you know,
that makes it a lot more
it's even with the mayor. He's over there. You ask him a question. If you don't understand it, just keep going, and he'll answer it. Dwyer's over there. We can aggravate him a little bit, you know. And then anybody else, the aldermen, they're all open.
Yep.
So, and then Paul, if somebody said anything, or if somebody did anything that was in the paper that we were reviewing, he'd say, well, they need 6 votes for that, or 5 votes for that.
Yeah, he was knowledgeable about
he knew how the government worked, because he was on the city council for I don't know how many years.
Well, he was a great choice too, because you guys would go back and forth, and you didn't agree 100% with everything he had to say, and he didn't agree 100% with everything you had to say.
That's right.
But you were able to have a conversation about it, and people can choose the side that they wanted to choose.
And it worked out. It just worked out perfect.
I just wanted to thank you for having your show all these years. Whether you know it or not, you've actually been an advocate for democracy, freedom of speech, and transparency, having the mayor on all the time, and Representative Jim Dwyer. And you've also been, you're a good person, like some of the people said. You're very comfortable with interviewing people, and you make them feel comfortable. And I think that's one of your biggest assets, that you're a good person, and you've done this for over 10 years. So I want to personally thank you for doing this for that many years.
Thank you very much,
Thank
my
you so
boy.
much. And before we go, we're going to give you a chance to say what you want to go, what you want to say at the end. But us here at the Media Center, everybody here has parting gifts for you. We know what just happened over the weekend is the Super Bowl 51 was won by the Patriots. So we got you a hat. What else we got here? We got you a nice golf shirt for the Patriots.
Perfect. Yeah, that's going to be worn out.
Don't show this to Nina because she'll steal it.
Yep, she will, yeah. Thank you.
What else we got? We have a sweatshirt too. Just something you can wear right away. It's a sweatshirt.
Yeah, that's my uniform, sweatshirt.
People can see it like that.
Yeah.
Or here.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much.
And then just a little something else from the Media Center.
I'm changing my mind. I think I'll stay.
And you can't. It's like Big Pappy in the tour. They gave him so many gifts that he can't come back.
Yeah, I know it, huh? I know it. So many people talking about how wonderful I am. I could get a big head doing that, boy. Maybe I'll just run for mayor or something. I don't know what to do. But anyway.
Well, now it's up to you to say whatever you want to the people of Woburn and...
About 5 minutes.
Yeah, get about
5 minutes. How can I talk? I can't talk for 5 minutes. But listen, the city of Woburn is a great place. I was born in Woburn in 1937. I spent a lot of time here. Everybody went away to war and came back again and spent their time living in education. I went to Woburn High School, blah, blah, blah. And I met a lot of people. We have more in Parker. That's another place where you can find out what's going on in the city of Woburn. But basically, as Palmer used to say, the city of Woburn is just a good place. The people are good. You know, it's just a middle-class community where people work hard. It's grown a lot since I was in high school. The city is now, it's a big city, and it's on the 93, 95 juncture where bigger businesses are coming, and the prices of real estate keep going up and stuff like that, so it's going to be more and more difficult for young people to come and live in Woburn, at least to start in Woburn. In the olden days, you had to go to buy a house up in Billerica on some pond for $10,000, and then you stayed there, got a little equity, then you got your money, and you came back to Woburn.
Yeah, you moved somewhere else, right?
That's how everybody did it. But you can tell by the people who just made this, what would you call all these compliments, as far as I'm concerned, my own personality and stuff. They're the ones that do it. You know, you invite them in there. There's a structure here. You have to have, as my wife would say, you have to have process and you have to have structure. So we have structure. We have an executive director. And Brian is different from Bishop, as we talked about earlier. He's a more technical guy. He's a photographer. He's a video guy. He's a musician. He goes out and does a lot more than what people realize. But he's a perfect person for having the Woburn Public Media Center directorship right now. That's a perfect explanation for your business. Now, the kids that work here have all been graduated from university. Lauren and Jennifer Gatta, and young Mr. Giulio. So we're not that makes a big difference, but they're ahead of the children who come through here, and they're doing their best to educate them, and we proved over a period of time that works. And the other thing that I want to just say is the people are not afraid of transparency. The politicians in the city of Woburn will be found out in a minute if they are not doing the right thing. They can have different ideas of how things should go, but they're not afraid to come in and sit in a chair and answer some of the questions. And it's the same thing we used to have. We had one program we called for a while, Conversations. So that's all it is a conversation. Come in, sit in the chair, and go back and forth. How are you? I'm good. But before you know it, you say, what's going on downtown? They tell you what's going on. I mean, every president of the city council comes in. They're the ones who know what's going on, and they're transparent. The mayor, if somebody calls, Jennifer is like the director or the producer, probably both of them.
Yeah.
And Lauren, they call the mayor. And Marie's down there, say, here, come anytime, just come down. Yes. And you can sit there for as long as you want, and he'll answer any question. So in the beginning when we did it, I'd go home, I have a list of questions that I have, and I'd ask them. And then now I don't even have to have a piece of paper. Just go in there,
Right, 'cause
because
you know what
from
you wanna say,
memory,
yeah.
some of the things are still going on, and he's very forthcoming. If Scott Galvin doesn't know the answer to the question you ask him, he will, how his office is situated, he will spin in that chair and
Find out.
and
Yeah.
find out
Yeah,
what the
absolutely.
answer is right now, and that's what you get. Now, if that isn't the best kind of transparency you can get in government, I don't know what is. For my own personal feelings, it's not a sad time. I can almost cry, basically. It's a scary thought, but it's possible. But it's like, it's time, you know, it's time. 80, if somebody's, I get out town and say, I'm 80, everybody looks at you and says, how do you get to be 80? I said, I don't know, because I wasn't the best person in the world to be passed on to 80. But anyway, I had the opportunity to stay as long as I wanted. When I went into Brian's office and said, I'm leaving. Oh, well, before I even said when I was leaving, he says, well, you can come back on Monday and do this, or Tuesday and do that, or you can talk to the mayor whenever you feel like it.
That stands now. You can always come back.
So I said, well, I got two choices. I said, I could stay till the end of school, Christmas, what is it, June. So June, and then I leave, so then I go down the beach and play golf and sit in the sun for one sun. Just what I want to do this summer. I'm just going to sit down in the sun and play a little golf. The other way was wait till your 80th birthday, which was Saturday. And then we were going to have, we don't work on Saturday weekends except for special occasions.
Yeah, once in a while, yeah.
The 375th anniversary is
Yeah,
all on
we'll
the
be down.
weekend. So these kids here, and I call anybody younger than me a kid. So these kids are out there on the weekend. He's over there taking pictures of last weekend, on the weekend over at, what's the name of that park?
Leland Park.
Leland
Yeah,
Park,
over at Leland,
for the ice thing, and it got canceled. But anyway, you still have to make plans to go out and do that. You know, it's not a question of just getting out of bed and saying, I'm going to go do it. This is all organized. But I thought, my birthday was on Saturday. I said, that's good, because then I come in Monday, phew, I'm all psyched for Monday, and
Then it snows.
the weatherman didn't cooperate.
Right. So we're here
So
on
we
Tuesday.
had it.
so-
We did it today, which is fine, because it gave me a little bit more time to think about it. But nobody can appreciate more what that group of people say. I mean, how many people, you can't go around and say to people, you know, what do you think of that dope? You know what I mean?
Well,
In case they, oh yeah, he's a great guy. Good grief.
No, that was all sincere. You know, and whenever we ask people to say something about you, it's always something good.
Yeah, I know that's scary, isn't it?
No. I don't know why you think it's scary.
Oh God, we could go. But anyway, I want to say I'm leaving. I'm going home in a couple of minutes. Down the highway, I'll have a lot to think about. The people of the city of Woburn, if all the years I've lived here, have been very good to me. I don't have any complaints with the people for the city of Woburn. Everybody, anybody, I don't care who it is, from old mayors to new mayors, to politicians, the school department, all the changes that have been made. I just went along with the flow like everybody else that lives in the city. And if you pay attention to what's going on, and the people downtown are doing the job as transparent as possible, there can't be any problems. There's no problems. So therefore, I'd just like to say goodbye, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Next time. If you ever said to me a few years ago, hey, you'll be a great grandfather, I would have said, yeah, right. I might as well hit the lottery. So it's a beautiful afternoon. I could stay here for a while, sitting in the sun, just keep yakking away, because that's my goal, is to just keep talking away.
R2-D2.
Right, yeah, I know it. Look at that thing. Oh, that's pretty cool.
It is.
It's going to have an orange leaf in it. It's going to have residential units up top, all parking on site, which is really important downtown. When you get projects,
Yogurt?
yeah, yogurt. You like yogurt?
Yeah. of Eastern Avenue, or
Wherever it is.
wherever it is.
I'm ready.
Because
Maybe we can get a
I
yogurt.
think-
That would be, you know, we can stop by and get a yogurt. That's what we should do.
Yeah, that's. It's pretty much dark anyway. It's dark when I get up in the morning. It's dark when I come here. It's dark when I go home. I might as well be in the South Pole or something. Look at that hat. That's God. They're not looking too bad. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Next time.